I said, empty your mind. Be formless, shapeless. Like water.
Welcome to tonight's show on TNO. This is a post-analysis of Survivor South Africa Season 7, like Claudio always says. But tonight, I've got a much prettier co-host than usual. Christy, say hello and welcome on TNO.
I'm so glad to be on TNO. Well, thanks for having me, Kobus. I'm filling in for Claudio today.
Lovely, lovely. It's an honor speaking to you, Christy. So first off, we usually start off by quickly doing a recap of the show. But before that, Christy is one of those phenomenal people who does awesome things for a cause. Christy, do you quickly want to chat about that?
So because we're in the theme of all things Survivor, we've got a bunch of mad to run runners that are going to be taking on the challenge to run to Cape Town to actually raise money for people that need funds for education. So I am taking on that challenge to do Mad to Run. So guys, please donate. And the link will be in the About section.
Cool. Christy, that is awesome. Running all the way from Joburg to Cape Town. That is...
yeah, I'm so excited.
That respect right there.
I'm as excited to be on the show as well.
Yeah, a lot of firsts for you this year, eh?
A lot of firsts.
Okay, so the recap for... Hey, Claudio!
How are you doing? Has the show started?
Yes, the show has started, man. Sorry.
Oh, what are you doing?
Sorry, dude.
Man.
You're out for tonight.
Just get out of here. Get out of here. Dude, this is what happens when you go to the toilet too long with your cell phone. Never go to the toilet with your cell phone because you spend far too much time and then your girlfriend tries to take advantage. That's what happened. That's number one. And then number two
I was ready to do the show with her.
The show's continuing, my man. The show's continuing. Look, dude, if you sit in the toilet for too long, you get piles. Where are we? Have you started the recap yet? Get on to the recap. Go. Take us away.
I was just about to do the recap. So,
good.
Yes. This week we saw the Survivor auction, or usually it's the Survivor auction that comes up. But it was quite an interesting alternative to the Survivor auction. It was, they played that game where you could steal the presents from one of your fellows who plays the game with you. They hand out a bunch of presents in a certain sequence, and then you've got the opportunity. It's nice when you do it at Christmas. Usually we do it at Christmas, where you either get the chance to pick a present or to steal someone else's. It's a flippin' cool thing. Any case, so Jock tried to poach or to get the advantage in the game, or to get the specific gift, or I don't know what you would call it, but the one which obviously had a clue in it, and were some sort of an advantage. But then Steffi was smart enough to take that from him, and she ended up going to the Island of Secrets again. It was apparently like her first time on the Island of Secrets. I'm not counting, I'll admit. Any case,
Steffi's Island.
Yeah, so she saw a good friend of hers there, and Gina told Steffi, listen, think twice about going to the final with Rob. So she really got Steffi thinking. And then with the immunity challenge, we saw Mike really, coming out of his blocks, and Mike won immunity. That was quite a surprise for me, and ended up obviously going to tribal council. Jock did his utmost best to look for an idol, couldn't find an idol, and they piled a bunch of votes on him. Jock the Rao and Mike ended up voting for Steffi, but that was too little too late. The Amigos steamrolling machine seems to be doing its job rather well. Claudio, your take on the episode?
Yeah, first of all, I just want to comment on, there are a lot of things being said about this is a terrible season of Survivor. Everything's very predictable. Last week's stuff, people saying, the Migos are super nasty, super mean. I think there are a couple of things to consider before we talk about this episode in particular, is that the show is only as good as the contestants that are on the show, and it's very contextual to how they play the game. I think a lot of the predictability has come in because of the great game Rob is busy playing. I think if you had to put the name Boston in front of Rob right now, people would be raving about how great he's playing this game, or how great that Boston Rob would be doing well. So, I mean, he's playing a game to such an extent that things are unraveling in this way, in this manner. I do think people also just need to relax and take a seat back and understand that this is a show and we only see a certain amount of things that the producers put together. We don't see the full 24-hour or whatever it is that goes on. Okay, I just thought I had to get that off my chest because I was going through, I was like, people are just going crazy. Anyway, as for this show, I think it was a slow build up to get to where we are now. I think Jacques leaving the island was inevitable, like I said. I mean, we just discussed it. But what it did remind me of is that it was kind of like a box of cereal. At the bottom of the box of cereal or packet of chips where you have the token or the toy at the bottom. We've taken a while to get to the bottom of the box, but now we finally get into the toy and the game's about to kick off with everything and the different relationships and alliances taking place. So I'm pretty excited to what's going to come next. But yeah, so overall, I thought it was a good step for what's coming.
Okay, all right. I think let's call it for the recap. Your Golden Spear candidates for this week's episode.
How old are you, McLowan?
Old enough.
Old enough for what?
To party.
First person that stood out was Gina with her purple hair. I thought that was fantastic. I mean, that's some way to make an entrance on the island. Boom, boom, boom. I kind of also think she deserves to get mentioned for the Golden Spear because she was kind of like Steffi's oracle. So, when you have the superhero, and I know she's not playing the superhero game, even though she doesn't want to be seen as a villain. I mean, Steffi, you're coming across as a hardcore villain, but she gets sent to this island on a quest. Just picture this. And on there, her mentor is sitting there waiting for her. Like, yes, young Padawan, you must listen to me. And like, it reminds her to play the game, reminds her that it is a game. I mean, it blows my mind that Steffi's only realized at this point that it is a game. But yeah, so I thought she was fantastic for that. I thought Gina just sitting down, she's slow, she's methodical in her approach in terms of how she spoke to Steffi. And she just gave the right advice for the game being played. Who else are you going to mention? I've got a couple other people, but I thought I'd give you a go quickly as well.
Well, I think, like you said, Gina made some valid points for Steffi, and she said, which is very true, if she sits next to Rob at the final, everyone's going to vote for Rob because of his multi-dimensional gameplay. He didn't, just perform in challenges, or, he wasn't just social or outwitting or whatever. So yeah, Gina made a good point, and like you've mentioned with the purple hair, quite an entrance. I think I must say I want to commend Mike for performing well in the challenge. I really didn't think he could. It was quite a physical challenge. So when I saw that challenge, I rated Nicole, Steffi, and Rob. They're gonna be the ones to watch in this challenge, and Mike stepped up to the plate and boom, got it. Then I also want to make a slight mention, but just a little one, for Tani Letitia.
Oh, Tani!
you know, jumped on that idol. Like, that was crazy. I mean, Jock was looking for the idol with everything in him, and Letitia just shuffles around it. Oh, something is sticking out. Boom, gets an idol. But I don't think I'll award the golden spear because you found an idol, or just because you did well in a challenge. Those were just sort of like honorable mentions. And once again, like always, you know, Rob is playing a solid game. So I want to, I think I must just mention that as well. But I don't know, there wasn't a candidate who specifically stood out for me in this episode for Golden Spear. It's kind of hard to award it.
Yeah, so, but let me touch on the guys that you have mentioned. I'm in agreement with Mike and Letitia completely. Letitia, I think you forgot to mention something else. I know in the last episode I spoke about Nicole being the mastermind behind an all-female alliance, but in this episode we actually see that I got it wrong, and it was actually Letitia, the Dunny Letitia with the feminist movement trying to get it going. So that's one thing I think why she needs to get mentioned, as well as the fact that she finds the hidden immunity idol, which was staring Jacques right in the face, but I think desperation did get the best of him. But so yeah, so Letitia's done well here, and I think she's this move that she's done is going to put her in good stead for the closing episodes of Survivor. And I think she's got a huge chance of winning this game. She hasn't pissed many people off. She's going to be in with the jury. The fact that she wanted to give up, but she stuck around. She's got the classic underdog story. If she's got to sell it to the jury, if she's good enough to sell it to the jury, that's probably what's lacking in her arsenal. But she's got that going for her. So I think that's fantastic. Mike. Yes, it's about damn time he does something worth talking about. I mean, it's great. I mean, he knows he's on the outs. He says he's going to play this game aggressively. That's what he's trying to do. He needs to get mentioned, yes, for the immunity award. He did fantastically well in that challenge, and he deserves every credit that he belongs to his name for that challenge. But it was in the rewards with the food that I thought was fantastic when he gives the letter to Letitia. I think this is a very, very calculated move. It completely goes over everyone's head. And it's one of those that he knows Letitia's not necessarily in with the amigos. I know he knows she's in with the ladies, but if he's kind enough and good enough to her, not only does he have an angle that he can work in an alliance going forward, but if push comes to shove, if she does get sent to the jury, that's someone who's got his back again. He's doing so well playing the jury. So I think that's another thing. He's not just winning things on the side, but he's also playing the jury every time he's going there now. And I think he's going guns blazing. So for me, those are the guys.
I think also Claudio mentioning Mike's jury management, also looking at Jock's Ponderosa video, or not his Ponderosa video, but just sort of like the afterword which he gave. It wasn't on the episode. It was one of those videos which is only available on Mnet's website. Jock says that he thinks Mike is a candidate that he would like to see win. So, you know, that also sort of supports your point, saying that Mike is doing well by, you know, putting people on the jury that doesn't feel antagonist towards him, you know. So yeah, so that's strategically, I think that's also good gameplay. So I would be willing to award the Golden Spear to Mike. I don't think he's won a Golden Spear so far, but any case, if you're not in opposition towards the idea of awarding old Mikey a Golden Spear, we can go ahead and throw him one.
I think let's throw him one, because I do think his days are numbered. Even though he's playing a good game at this point, I think his days are numbered. So let's give him a Golden Spear while he still has a chance to win from
while he's still there.
Yeah. Okay, you ready?
Go.
Nice. Okay, let's move along to our wooden spoon.
Hey, you might want to step back a little bit. This thing got a little kick to it, okay? Freeze! You better stop before I put a hole in your back! Oh, you think it's a game? Oh, it's on now! Oh, shit!
Got a little bit of kick to it.
My stomach and my ass.
Oh yeah, you ready for the streets.
This guy should be banned.
So the wooden spoon, just quickly, is for the village idiot. Let me just sit like this. or the guy who did the stupidest thing.
Shit.
Any case, okay, let me think. Yes, okay. So, for doing that on national TV, I'm gonna nominate my old favorite man here, the Raung, for and spilling the beer before
Don't spill the beer, man. Come on, Oak. What the hell's wrong with you?
Classic the Raung. Oh man, yeah, no, I felt that wasn't a smooth move. And once again, for lap dogging, going straight to Rob. Yeah, hey, Mike wants to vote you out again at Tribal Council. Flipping hell, that all, man. No.
No.
But I'm nominating like a big fat wooden spoon for my for my chum here on my right hand side. Your mentions for wooden spoon, Claudio?
This is gonna shock you. I mean, I'm gonna speak about Durang, but that's gonna be in the back seats.
Yeah.
Our first one is Rob. So Rob, he does really well again, straight off the bat. He comes in hot. He's playing Mike. He's managing relationships, but he does slip up a bit in this episode. He slips up when he gets caught up in his own web, so to speak. Like right at the end, he's getting caught up in the craziness of the game. He speaks to Durang and Mike and tells them to vote one way, and then he speaks to the girls and he tells them to vote another way. By doing that, by the way, by keeping Durang and Mike on the outs, what he's actually doing is he's allowing those to get closer together. So Durang at some point, yes, he's the village idiot, but he's got a huge chance of winning this game, because if he lands up in the final with any of these other guys, he hasn't upset anyone, so why wouldn't they give it to him? But so he does this move and he lets them get closer together. And also coming back from the jury, now that Steffi knows her name's on the chopping block, even though he told the ladies that her name wouldn't be mentioned, you saw she was crying. She's going to be in tears. So he's somewhat ruined that relationship. So he is on the outs. I mean, he does have an advantage and he does have an idol to his benefit, which he can maneuver, and he has a huge chance of winning every immunity challenge. But he's messed up those relationships a little bit. So I'm gonna mention that. Obviously, it's not a huge fall, but it's something he hasn't done right in this episode for me. The other person I need to mention is your favorite, apart from the village idiot, is Steffi. I got to mention Steffi. I don't know why Steffi gets so far into this game and only realizes at this point that it's a game, and she needs to be reminded how to play the game by her friend. Thank goodness she's got that friend, by the way. I think her friend is like her ultimate life coach in general. That's what I think. I think that's what she is to her. I don't know. What you think. Yeah, and also up until that point, did she really think she was going to take Rob to the final and beat him?
Yeah.
Her social game's been poor. Strategically, she's been riding with whatever Rob's doing, even though she thinks she's calling the shots. And then thirdly, the same with Nicole, the same with Rob, saying they're not appealing to the jury. Why would you not appeal to the jury? That's one of the biggest components of this game. Ultimately, they decide who wins the money. So why would you completely shun them and say, no, screw you guys, and openly, blatantly tell and say that, listen, screw you guys, we're playing our game until we get to the end, and then we'll think about you guys as an afterthought. Even though they're disgruntled, they want to be hearing their names. They want to be hearing that they're fantastic players, etc. That's what they want to be doing. And she's completely shooting herself in the foot with not taking that angle.
Yeah, Claudia, I think not necessarily just that, not just sort of how can I say, streeling their egos. What's the right word for it? Sort of not just candy coating it or putting honey around their mouths. I don't know what the right expression in English is for the jury, but for a lot of people, what are important for when they pick the sole survivor is someone who owned up to their game and who did what they said they were going to do. So, coming out and saying the jury is on, it's the last thing that you're thinking of, I don't know. That's not a smart move, because it's not the truth. Because it's not.
Yeah, it's not the
bullshit.
But that's been the problem with their game, in particular with Nicole and with Steffi's game, is that they come across very hypocritical, or the one's coming across more delusional than the other. But that's the issue right here. That's what's happening.
I think the thing is, if you're gonna go out and that's what makes the game of Survivor so beautiful is, I think it's, I wouldn't say it's easy, but it's easier to lie your way to the top. But then it's very difficult to claim that title of sole survivor, because no one wants a liar as the sole survivor. My opinion of it has always been that you inevitably you're gonna have to tell a lie here and there in Survivor. That's granted, but you should try and do it as little as possible. That's just my opinion. But any case,
well, I suppose that's the great thing about the game. It's a moral dilemma. How far do you go? How far do you want to take it? I mean, Sarah, I think her name was Sarah. She won one of the American seasons. She was a great example because she played twice. So the first time she went in, by profession, she was a cop. So she went in, she played this honorable game, and she got sent packing very early. Second time, she was brought to the game. She told her friends and family and everyone, she said, look, I'm going to play this game like a criminal. And she landed playing like a criminal, and she was in every discussion, and she landed up winning the game. So it depends. And I think that's where I discuss about when I say the American Survivor is somewhat the Premier League and the South African one is still the second division, because you can get away with making those manipulative moves and seeing it as a good thing within the game. Whereas in South Africa, we haven't gotten used to the fact that it is a game. We take things a lot more serious. And based on what happened last week with Jacques, people like, that's disgusting. Is this a reflection on society? How can someone be treated like that? I mean, from Rob's point of view, it was a complete strategic move. Nicole and them slightly mentioning the moral high ground. They took that ground, whether it was right or wrong. That's irrelevant. That's what's happened within the game, and that's it. That's the point I'm trying to make, and like we still haven't come to terms with that.
Yeah, purely considering it as a game. Any case, wooden spoon, Claudio. We need to say who's getting the wooden spoon tonight, man. How strong do you feel about your nomination for Rob and Nicole about the not doing their jury management properly? I think that's a better point than making your name poople, because you've done that a couple of times already. So that's nothing new.
Yeah. So no. Durham can't get it. He's just comic relief. I mean, that's why he's on the show. He's bringing joy to our hearts, man. That's what he's doing by shoving it in his mouth. I think this is the downfall of Rob. So
that's true. That's true.
Yeah. So I think so from his community, I think he's lost his community a little bit.
Yes. Okay. Here it goes for Rob. And
Rob. Sorry, Rob, you're still playing a fantastic game and we're in awe of it. Your eyes are really blue and they have me glued to the screen, as I'm sure they do you.
Okay, storm is brewing. So.
Yeah, yep.
Oh, yes, I'm the first to enter eternity.
Oh, Potato! Way to go, buddy! That's my guy!
Be made by the hands of a god. Oh, Danny boy, the pipes are caught. Oh, Jesus, fuck! Oh, gummy skin! She's feeling me fucking skin! Fuck! Jesus, you fucking whore! Me eyes, they burn!
No, please, no! I forgot the familia!
What is happening? What's gonna happen next? I mean, yes, it would be. I would admit it would be a crisis if the final three is an all-female final.
What? Why would it be a crisis, bro?
No. I just want to say, we at TNO.
What's wrong with you? Anyway, yeah.
We are gender neutral. We had Christy on the show. We welcomed her onto the show.
Yeah.
For me personally, it would be very hard to pick between those three for the title of Sole Survivor. I think between those three, I would, yes. Dare I say, I think I would give it to Nicole. But any case, I'm running way ahead of the game. I think for now, Storm is brewing. Definitely Steffi's going to be very pissed off about the fact that her name came up 3 times in tribal council, and she's going to want to find out why did her name come up, and she's going to obviously know that it was Darrell and Mike that wrote it down, and they'll probably spill the beans and say, listen, Steffi, yeah, well, Rob told us to write your name down, and then things will get rather interesting. So yeah, there's still a good couple of episodes left for things to happen, and so we might at the end of the day actually see Rob pack his bags, although I do think he's been playing a fantastic game, and I think he deserves a place at the top, in the top 3. Any case, Claudio, your take on Storm is Brewing.
It's very interesting. You got Rob, who's got his idol and his advantage. You got Nicole, who still has an idol. You have Letitia, who now has an idol. So amongst all those idols, there's going to be some chaos, hopefully. We've got Mike and Durang, and what I'm seeing is somewhat bonding. We've got the 3 ladies, like you've mentioned, for the all-feminist final, which I think would be cool. And I think it would give what we think the jury headaches, but I think there would be one clear winner there. I do think we haven't spoken anything about Nicole, and it's worth mentioning within the Storms Brewing. Rob doesn't see her as a threat. He literally said it was either me or Steffi as a huge mother. Beep! And did not mention Nicole. And Nicole is someone who's played the social game, who's made crucial moves, and also has the ability to win an immunity challenge, which is something she's ticked off on her resume. So going towards the end. So that, watch out for that. And I keep mentioning her. And like when I mentioned her, she was too eager to hear me tell her she's going to fail. So for me, like that's a possibility. And then the other thing that I want to mention is Mike winning the immunity this week was crucial for his game because, again, it adds to his resume. He's not just playing the social game or what he thinks the strategic game. I don't think he's going to be acknowledged as much from a strategic point of view, largely because it seems like he's riding coattails, but he does think he's doing that, and I think winning the challenge was great for him, so it's going to be great next episode. Kobus.
Alrighty, cool. Claudio, we've got some t-shirt winners, man.
Oh, damn! Nice.
And here they are. Hey, so I'm here at the residence. The same one I was at last week. And we've got 2 more t-shirt winners here tonight. The first one is none other than Kumo Mukale.
Oh, come on!
Kumo! Where are you? There you.
The lighting's bad, yeah.
Let's stand over here. Kumo, join me here. What did you think of tonight's episode?
Yeah, mixed emotions.
Yeah. How do you feel about John getting voted out?
I met him in the gym last weekend, and I just wanted to stay in for a bit longer.
Yeah.
I'm gonna miss him. I'm gonna miss you, jockey.
Anyway, for snapping that photo with John, you're getting a t-shirt there.
Thank you, Kobus.
Enjoy.
TNO.
He does the TNO. He does the TNO.
TNO.
Alright, and then we must make a mention to this lovely lady over here who got in for her masters.
Hey, guys.
Jessica. Woo,
Congratulations.
To you. Right, and our second winner for tonight is none other than Dale Harris. How's it, Dale?
Good, and yourself, Kobus?
Good. Tell me, wooden spoon, golden spear, who are you going
wooden
for
spoon,
tonight?
I'm definitely going with Darrell because I just think he's got no vision in the future. He's a puppet, he's a sheep.
Yeah.
He's just on Rob's leash.
Okay.
Golden spear, I think I'm going Steffi's friend. Definitely got in Steffi's head, and I think maybe that might be to advantage or not, but we'll have to see later.
Alright, awesome. Mr. Harris, give us your TNO properly. T-T-N. T-O-N. Shit, man. I must maybe take this away from you.
Take a wine away from me.
Enjoy your t-shirt.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Cheers, Kobus.
Okay, cool. And also, if you haven't subscribed to our channel, there's not much time left, but don't be out of the loop and go for it to subscribe to our channel now. And yeah, please like it and share your thoughts in the description below.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Claudio,
Yes.
closing remarks.
Yes, I just want to thank everyone who's commenting at the moment. And I think there's one guy who's from the UK. His name's Timo. Is his name Timo, Kobus?
Yes, it's Timo.
Timo, thank you so much for your support, dude. We love it. Keep talking to us. We'll keep talking to you. I also want to mention that Mad to Run thing was a serious thing at the bottom. There will be a link if you're interested in donating to the charity. It's a worthy cause. They put money together to give education, tertiary education, as well as high school education, I think it is, for children. And they pretty much give them packages where they send them off from feeding them as well as just paying for everything. So it's fantastic. And also, you should follow it. Go to Mad to Run, donate your money. Do it. Make money moves.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, Claudio, thanks for joining me for another episode of TNO. And thanks to Christy as well for chipping in there. That was
cool. So it was absolutely my pleasure. and apparently hers too.
Thanks for having a cool girlfriend, man. Alrighty. Claudio,
Cool.
I'll see you again next week.
Peace out, homie.
Cheers.
Cheers.